Champagne makes us think about celebration and connection. And it's not just about drinking the champagne, it's more about what it symbolizes. If you think about sporting events or big milestones, happy occasions like birthdays and weddings, we generally get together and we'll drink or at least open a bottle of a sparkling wine or champagne. And so it's about that coming together in a happy place, in a place of presence and gratitude that is incredibly powerful, especially for well-being. We know from positive psychology and by looking at natural human behavioral science that we tend to change our behaviors and create new habits easier when we reward ourselves, when we feel good and it's pleasurable, rather than making it punitive or about deprivation and denial. So the approach of the Champagne Campaign is not just about pleasure and celebration, it's about not always feeling like you have to give up on the finer things or your favorite things. So it's not about giving up on wine or on chocolate. It's not about spending lots of money on supplements or spending hours in the gym or lots of time preparing. It really is about creating ease, because if you're already stress rich and time poor, then looking after your health and well-being is not meant to add more stress. It's meant to create some ease. It's meant to create pleasure, so that reinforces the behavior and makes you excited about it, rather than something that you dread or that you put off for next week or next month or next season or next year. I mean, how often do we show up with New Year's resolutions, if that's something that you do, that are about quitting smoking or spending more time with loved ones or losing weight or getting to the gym? And maybe it's going to take a change in your mindset and looking at how you can make things more pleasurable so that they're more sustainable. Another pillar of the Champagne Campaign is looking at connection. And it's so much easier to connect with others once you've connected with yourself. So part of the program in the module is to take a look at how can you be more in touch with your intuition, and how can you use that to make better well-being and health choices. For instance, you can use intuition to know what kind of foods are good for you. But that isn't easy if you're stressed and distracted and you aren't able to connect. So part of the Champagne Campaign is looking at practical ways that you can help reduce the impact of stress, regulate your emotions, and tap into your intuition. And then connecting with others is vital. I mean, today we live in such a world that's connected with technology. I mean, we're always on, we're always just a WhatsApp away or a tweet or a post away from connecting with people. Yet, we have the highest rates of mental health and feelings of isolation, anxiety, depression ever. So we may be connected, but we're not really connecting. And so the Champagne Campaign is about bringing like-minded individuals together in a celebratory, pleasurable way that also allows us to connect and to build community, which is absolutely vital. One of my posts is around finding your raison d'être, which is the French way or term for having a purpose in life. I think it's the Japanese that call it ikigai. It's your reason for wanting to get out of bed in the morning. So do you have that? And it may be good to have one big raison d'être, but it's also good to have different whys and purposes for different aspects of your life. I know that I have a different raison d'être for my business and my career compared to my social life, or the way that I approach my intellectual life, or my health and well-being. And the Champagne Campaign takes a look at how we can look at those different aspects in an easy, practical way. And then the third important component of the Champagne Campaign is about curiosity. Why is that so important? Well, I've always been quite curious. My mother used to always call me her why child, because I always asked the question why. Isn't it true though, that once you understand, or once you have a reason why, it's so much easier to find a how or a what? I know that's true for me. So staying curious means that you keep an open mindset. It helps you keep a growth mindset. And even if you don't agree with what you learn or what's out there, if it's different to what you believe or your values, it's okay, because you can stay curious about why that's important for somebody else. So for instance, why have I chosen the Champagne Campaign? Well, yes, I do like champagne, But my family are also from the Champagne region in France. So my parents met in Champagne, they got married, and then they went on honeymoon to South Africa. 50 years later, they're still in South Africa. Perhaps not on honeymoon, but that's where they are, and that's where my accent is from, even though my heritage is from France. I now live in London, and of course I enjoy English sparkling wine, which is made in the same way that champagne is, but can't be called champagne. So I was curious about that. And so, for instance, on the Champagne Campaign workshops and retreats, one of the activities we do is a blindfold tasting, a masterclass of different sparkling wines to understand and just to be curious about what it is that you actually like. So tapping into that intuition and finding it pleasurable. So we'll try champagne and a cava and a prosecco and an English sparkling wine, for instance. And so, what if well-being was really about more, not about less? It doesn't have to be about less calories and less chocolates and less of any of your favorite things. You can feel calmer, feel healthier, feel happier. You can have more energy without having to give up on life's pleasures. If you'd like to know more, look out for the links below or in the comment section. I'd love to know what you think about this concept. I'm curious to know if it's something that's of interest to you. I'd love to know how you choose to celebrate, and if you have a raison d'être, a purpose, a strong why, especially around your health and well-being. I'd love to hear from you.